Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Seun Salami, as you may already know. In today's video, I want to answer a question. I posted something up on Instagram about divorce, about a celebrity's divorce, and people began to write all sorts of comments. A debate came up about whether a woman who is in a violent marriage should stay in that marriage or leave the marriage. So here's the question. My husband is beating me. He's a violent man, and I'm in this marriage. Should I stay in this marriage or should I leave this marriage? So I want to try to face that question today. Now, I'm answering this question not because I am the best person in the world to answer the question, not because I'm the almighty marriage expert, right? But I've read God's word, and I know the mind of God about divorce and things like this. So that's where I'm coming from. Other people have other ideas of how they tackle issues like this and challenges like this. I'm not against them, and I'm not fighting anybody. This is my YouTube channel, right? And this is my opinion. So I'm just expressing that. I'm expressing my own opinion about this issue. And what I would advise if it was my younger sister who was in that situation, what I would say to her is exactly what I'm going to say, right? And here's the thing. You see, when we have challenges like this, there are two ways to go about it. People usually approach things like this with the mindset of either finding a solution, which is a solution-oriented mindset, or they approach it with a fixed mind. So if somebody is saying, my husband is beating me, should I divorce him? That already says that this person already has an intent. There's already an intent. There's an intention. The person is already looking in a particular direction. So if you have a marital challenge, are you facing that marital challenge from the standpoint of, I want a solution to this problem, or I want a permission to divorce this person? There are two different things. And that's where I always try to meet people at, because it's very easy to think that you are trying to find a solution. You're trying to solve this problem. But at the same time, think about it. Are you facing this challenge with the mindset of, please, just give me permission to divorce this person? Just let me out of this marriage. That's the way most people tackle challenges like this, but they don't realize it. So that's the first thing I want to say. For a marital challenge to be solved, for a marital situation to be resolved, the two people involved must be willing to fight for that marriage. And I'm going to clarify that. You say fight for the marriage doesn't mean die in the marriage. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm simply saying, if you're trying to approach this problem of violence in the marriage, are you looking for a solution to the overall problem, or you are looking for a way out of the marriage? If you're looking for a way out, then I can't help you, because the Bible says that God hates divorce. That much is clear. Divorce is not an option for God. And this is the reason why we always stress for young people who are trying to get into marriage. These signs are always there. If you meet a man who has violent tendencies, you will know. There will be signs. And don't tell me that people pretend or people cover up. Yes, I know that. But trust me, there will be signs. You would have seen either towards you or towards somebody else a tendency for violence. But this is the problem. Because people are in love, they tend to cover up all of these things. They see these signs. It's not like they don't see them. It is when they get into the marriage and things begin to happen that they realize that, man, I actually saw this thing. I actually saw this sign, but I just felt like maybe it was just one of those things. I just felt, it would change. And that's the most common one. People just say it will change, it will change. It's not like that. Maybe he was just angry. And you see that this guy has a violent temper and he has a tendency to be violent at times. But you just cover it up. With, oh no, that's just the way he is. He will never do that to me. He will never be. And then you get into the marriage and little things trigger, violence, and it starts to hit you, starts to beat you. I'm not supporting violence in any way. Please don't get me wrong. Once again, I need to be very clear on this, because I know this is a very touchy subject for some people. And I'm very, very deliberate about what I'm saying. But here's the thing, guys. I cannot sugarcoat anything here. I cannot, say what is not. I have never beaten my wife before, because early in my life, I made up my mind. Very early in my life, even before I began to date her, that I will never beat whoever I get married to. It will never happen. Listen, the worst that can happen, right, is, I'm not saying this out of the flesh. I'm saying it that by the grace of God, because it's something that I've been praying about even before I met the person that I got married to. I've been praying to God that, God, whatever is going to happen, I never want to get to the point where I would get physical with my wife and hit her or beat her or slap her. I can't do that. I would rather pick the keys to my car and get out of the house and go to a friend's place and disappear for 2 days, even 3 days, and let her start looking for me. That I believe that's a better punishment and a more painful way of making your point known than to hit your wife. And I'm not saying I've ever left my house and absconded. I'm just telling you that I would rather do that, right, than beating my wife. So that much needs to be clear. I'm not one of those men. I do not subscribe to it. So don't get that idea that maybe this one permits. No. But I'm just saying that you have to be watchful. If you are watching and you're not married yet, you have to watch out for these signs. It's better for you not to get married. And I keep saying this, not because I don't like marriage or I don't like the idea of people getting married. I'm excited for people who get married. I like the idea as well. But you have to do it the right way and you have to get it right. You can't marry somebody who you can see the tendencies for violence. You can see the signs everywhere. Little things, he gets angry. It's temper issues. You see all those things. But, men are scarce. Where am I going to find another husband? Are you the one that will marry me? You're advising us now. Don't marry someone that is violent. Will you marry me? That's what gets people into this kind of situation. Now you are in this situation. The guy is beating you up. What do? My first advice is you need to find somebody who the both of you are accountable to, or who he at least is accountable to, and report the issue. This is not the time to be quiet or to say we agree that we're not going to take our matter to a third party. Please push that aside. Find somebody, preferably your pastor, or somebody that he respects. And once again, if you're not yet married, you are dating a man that doesn't have anybody in his life that he's accountable to. He doesn't have any mentor. He doesn't have any pastor that he respects. There's nobody that you can pick up the phone and call and he will feel threatened. And he will say, please don't call that person. I'm sorry. He doesn't have anybody like that. And you are still dating the guy and you are going to marry him. This is how people get into this situation. So you can't marry a guy who is not accountable to anyone. He doesn't respect his father. He talks about his mother anyhow, and you also join him to laugh about it when he's talking about it. When this kind of situation happens, there is nobody that you can report him to that he will feel threatened about the situation. I remember some time ago, I had a job for a client, a book that we had published overseas that was coming into Nigeria, and the book got stuck with customs. Now, this client of mine knew that I had a mentor, right? And so what the guy did, even though I had begged the guy, I had explained that this is not my fault, this is Nigerian customs matter, right? And there's nothing I can do about it. I just have to follow their due process and whatnot. They have changed some of their rules and things like that. And he picked up the phone and he called my mentor. It was one of the most scary experiences that I ever had in business because I felt so uncomfortable. For the few weeks and that it took for those books to come out, for those few weeks, I was not myself. I kept praying that God, please let this matter just pass. Because he's not the kind of person that I want to have a bad report about me. So I needed to fix that. The minute the books came out, I told the client, please, the same way you have reported me, can you just pick the phone now and remedy the situation, right? And he did that, and I was pleased about that. So here's my point. Your guy must have somebody he's accountable to. So please, pick the phone, call the person that he's accountable to. Let them step into the situation. If he doesn't have somebody he is accountable to, you need to find someone in your own line that you are accountable to, that you respect, that you trust, that you can bring into the situation. Don't handle it alone. You cannot handle a violent man. You can't. Otherwise, you end up dead. It's as simple as that. And if you're dead, there's no marriage to fight for. So you can only fight for your marriage when you're alive. So please, let somebody else step into the situation. If you need to be removed from the situation, not the marriage. Please get it right. You are not being removed from the marriage, but you need to step out of that situation. You can't be in the same house with a violent man. So you need to step out. Move to your friend's house or move to the person's house, your parents' house, and just be there for a while until the situation calms down, until the guy regains his senses, until he comes back to himself. Because sometimes we don't value what we have until we lose it. So maybe one day he needs to come back home for like 3-4 days consecutively and not meet anybody in the house to beat. Then you will realize that, okay, maybe what I'm doing is not okay, right? So you need to step out of that situation. But when you're stepping out, you're not stepping out with the mindset of, I'm leaving this man. You are leaving the situation until the problem is solved. And that is the point that I need to make, that you are not giving up on your marriage. You are not saying, I'm going away, then you pack all your things, I'm leaving, I'm going, and you leave. No, you are leaving that situation so that people can come into the situation and help you fix it. Talk to the man. And analyze the situation for you. What's going on here? What's leading to this? If it's a problem that the guy needs to seek help for, needs therapy, needs whatever it is, they would do that. You guys need to sit down and say, come, we cannot continue in a marriage that you are going to kill me, because that's what's going to happen at the end of the day. If I can't fight for myself, I'm defenseless. You are the one who is strong. You are always eating. One day you're going to kill the woman, because that's what happens. We see all these pictures all over the internet where people are being brutalized in their homes and in their marriages, and they're just being quiet about it. So please, it is so important that you first step out of the situation, bring somebody else into it, and then approach the matter prayerfully. Some of these problems, as much as we want to look at it on the surface and think that it's just a normal thing, it's just a mental problem, sometimes it's not. It's more than that sometimes. So you also need to be prayerful about it and approach it, as a child of God that I assume that you are. Pray about the matter and seek the face of God genuinely. If you need to fast, go ahead and do it. These are the things that would show whether you really want to fight for the marriage. This is what I mean by fight for the marriage. It's not to go and be jamming the door. Like, hey, you are beating me too, I'll show you. That's not how to fight. This is how to fight for the marriage that I'm talking about. So you will go out of your way because there are some things that Jesus said, that there are some things that don't go except by prayer and fasting. So you will go to the place of prayer and get on your knees and fix the issue from that point, right? And make sure that you have on your own done everything you can do. Because again, you can be looking at the other person as the problem all the time. Yes, there's no excuse for violence. That much is clear. And I have told you already that I don't condone it. But you also must be sure that you are not the one who is really the issue. And I'm trying to spell it out here. You are not the one who is triggering some of the actions that are going on. Sometimes it's not violence. Sometimes it's the way a man behaves. And it is because the woman is doing certain things that the man doesn't just have the temperament to control. It's not every man that has the willpower or the strength to ignore a woman who's nagging, or a woman who is always, insulting him or saying things that are hurting deeply. And women know how to do this a lot. Like maybe you know certain things about the man that are his weaknesses, or maybe he's not earning enough, he's not providing money, and you always use that against him, and it touches the man in a very deep place. He will react because he's human. He will react. It's just the same way with women as well. Sometimes a woman might be misbehaving, but you don't know that it's because of the way the man is actually behaving that is making her react in those ways, right? So all of these things, you need to check it well. I've interacted with a couple of people who have relationship issues, and I can tell just by interacting and asking questions, I can tell that this person doesn't really want a solution. This person just wants permission to get out of this thing. Do you understand? So in that kind of situation, you can't really help. Because anything you say, they have a defense for it. You can only just advise that, this is what I think about this thing, right? But when people have made up their minds that they want to leave a marriage or a relationship, they would look for any avenue, any excuse. Back to the issue at hand. Please get out of this situation, right? Remove yourself from that violent situation. Don't stay there, because you will get killed if you stay there. Find help. Bring the help into the situation. Let the matter die down. With time, things might change, hopefully, by God's grace. He will come to his senses, and there has to be a commitment. It's not just, sorry, dear, I'm sorry, we have heard those kind of stories. It will never happen again, No. So sometimes, you can even start by visiting before you go back to the house. You can start by visiting, especially if you don't have children yet. Even if you have children, let the children stay with you. Just visit occasionally, and watch the man. Doing that doesn't mean you are divorcing him. Divorce is a different thing. It's a completely different thing. It means you're saying, please, I want to separate from you. I no longer want to be your wife. That's what divorce is, right? And that's what God is against. But God did not say you should stay in the house where somebody is beating you every day, turning you to punching bag until you die. I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you, right? So I hope I've been able to help you in a little way. If you're watching and you have any other advice for this person, please put them in the comments below. Like I always say, I'm not the Almighty. I'm not El Shaddai. So please, this is just the little that I know. If you know any other thing that can help them, please put it in the comment section below and let this person get help. Because you never know who these things are helping. So your comments might just be the saving grace that the person has. So thank you guys for watching once again. Thank you for always watching the videos on this channel. Share them with your friends. If you know anybody that has this kind of challenge, you can share it as well with such persons. Like the video if you do by clicking the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. Check out some of the other awesome videos that I have on the channel. I'll be back next week. I usually post videos on Friday in Canada, 9 p.m. Pacific time, In Nigeria, it is Saturday morning at 6 a.m. I'll see you guys again next week. God bless you.